Good afternoon. Thank you again for joining us. We're here with an update on the critical water main break. Today we'll be hearing from Mayor Jody Gondek, Calgary Emergency Management Agency Deputy Chief Kobe Durr, and General Manager of Infrastructure Services, Michael Thompson. We'll hear their updates and then there will be an opportunity to ask questions after. Please keep your questions limited to one question and one follow-up. Thank you.
Oki, Dadanastada, Ambawastich, and Tanse. Good afternoon, everyone. As you heard this morning, I called upon the city's chief administrative officer to engage a third party to complete an incident review of this entire situation. Like all of you, I wanted to get to the bottom of what happened. CAO David Duckworth has said that the framework for this independent incident review has been created. He further said that it will be a panel that includes experts in the water industry, water utilities managers, academics, engineers, as well as other infrastructure experts. The private sector and national water industry associations will also be a part of this review. And I look forward to the light that this will shine on what led up to the failure of this pipe and how we can prevent anything like this from ever happening again. I'd like to thank both CAO Duckworth as well as General Manager Michael Thompson for making sure that this review got underway. I'd also like to thank the teams at the Glenmore Water Treatment Facility for keeping us in good shape while that facility has been shouldering the load of the city. Your diligence and your hard work is greatly appreciated by all of us. I have some great news on water use in the city. Yesterday, we consumed 450 million liters of water, which is well below our threshold. And that goes to show that you are doing a great job in joining our neighbors in Airdrie, Strathmore, Chestermere, and Tsuut'ina Nation in reducing water usage by a quarter. Every liter helps, and the crews at the Glenmore plant in their efforts to keep a precious supply of water moving throughout the city for all of us. A special thank you to the classy folks at the San Diego County Water Authority for putting those 2 lengths of pipe on a truck yesterday. Those last pipes could be here sooner than expected, meaning that the concurrent work on all 5 hotspots is well underway. With regard to the work that's being done on the active sites, we have implemented a process to have crew leads meeting with each other twice a day to discuss lessons learned over the course of their shifts. We have also had the learnings from the repairs to the original break come forward so that we can have some suggestions that help us do things quicker while also maintaining the highest standards of safety. The very close collaboration between city crews and our contractor partners from the private sector has meant that we can move this project forward in a way that is both safe and as quick as it can be. You'll hear more from Michael Thompson in a few minutes about what's happening on the construction front, but first let's have Deputy Chief Kobe Durr come up and give us an update from the Calgary Emergency Management Agency.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon. I'm happy to be here again while Chief Sue Henry is taking some well-earned days off. I want to start today by again thanking Calgarians for everything you have done to limit water usage. My heartfelt gratitude to all of you for pulling together and helping us with this emergency. I'd also like to thank our regional partners and neighbors in the town of Strathmore, cities of Chestermere and Airdrie, and Tsuut'ina Nation. Our data shows that you've been doing well with respect to water reduction, and we can't thank you enough for your efforts. We held our line and our target of 450 million liters of water consumption for yesterday, June 17th. As I mentioned yesterday, there has been a significant progress made from a repair standpoint. The initial site of the large feeder main break has been repaired. Our focus now turns to repairing the 5 additional hotspots as soon as safely possible. I know the additional traffic impacts will be difficult to navigate, and there will be some noise and other impacts, but our focus is to do this quickly, safely, and efficiently as possible. The last few days, many Calgarians collected water, and that's been great to see. There's more rain anticipated today, and with the warm weather expected over the weekend, it would be an excellent time for every Calgarian to collect more water where possible to have it ready for plants and gardens during that warm weather. Our reminder to cover your containers with a lid of some sort to keep children, pets, and wildlife safe and to prevent faster evaporation. I want to stress that safety is of the utmost importance. Calgarians have been accessing the river directly using a variety of containers. Do not pull water from the river. Please capture rainwater instead. From a public health standpoint, I want to reaffirm that this water is not safe to drink or consume. Alberta Health Services provides more details on using non-potable or rainwater safely on their website. To date, the City of Calgary community peace officers have responded to more than 2,000 complaints for individuals or businesses not adhering to Stage 4 water restrictions. The overwhelming majority have been resolved through education and warnings. 2 tickets have been issued. However, moving forward, unless there are mitigating circumstances, the direction to our peace officers is to proceed with ticketing if there is evidence of an offense for someone contravening the water restrictions. I'll remind folks that the specific penalty is $3,000 for an offense under the water utility bylaw, which speaks to the seriousness of this situation. With ongoing updates, the media attention to this situation, and a number of warnings given to date, it would be very difficult to believe that someone is still unaware that they can't run their sprinklers or fill their pool or wash something outdoors on their property. Warnings are meant to educate citizens on bylaw responsibilities to gain further compliance. We're past that point now, and consider the warmer weather in the forecast, it is critical that everyone adheres to the restrictions. As mentioned last week, it is clear that the overwhelming majority of Calgarians are doing their part, and we thank you for thinking about your neighbors and your community by taking steps to conserve water. It is because of your efforts that we are able to manage this crisis, so thank you. And to be clear, we are only ticketing those who are either repeat or egregious offenders of the water bylaw. Now for some stats. Officers have had 2,048 calls since June 6th. There have been 560 written warnings issued, 709 verbal warnings, 2 violation tickets have been issued to corporations. We have had a total of 128 calls for service regarding the fire ban. 99 are pending investigation, 14 written warnings have been issued, 53 verbal warnings have been issued, and 4 violation tickets have been issued. The total number of calls related to this water event to date through 311 is 6,918. To all, please continue to do your part to reduce water consumption. Make every drop count. I would now like to bring up GM Michael Thompson to give us an update on what's happening around their sites.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to start off by acknowledging the impacts that the repair work is having on traveling Calgarians, and thank you for your patience while we complete this important work. I'd also like to recognize our construction teams who still have a significant repair ahead of them. This is no small job, on-site or at home, and we all have a role to play. I want to thank everyone for working together and doing their part. Construction activity continues as we strive toward repairing the 5 hotspots identified and beyond the initial break location. These repairs are taking place 24 hours a day at 2 new construction areas that are separate from the location of the original water feeder main break. Pavement removal and excavation at the new locations began yesterday and is expected to be completed today. We will also begin pipe removal on the hotspots today. The hotspots we mentioned are not leaks. They are sections of pipe that warrant immediate repair. As shared yesterday, 3 sections of the replacement pipe are already in Calgary. And I can now share that the sections of pipe from San Diego are expected to arrive in Alberta today to be prepared for installation and will be transported to site when ready. Many specialized materials are required for this replacement work. We are working with various partners to secure these critical parts promptly. Significant detours remain in place on 16th Avenue Northwest, and we encourage commuter traffic to plan ahead. Please visit calgary.ca for the most up-to-date information. On Friday, we communicated that an additional 3 to 5 weeks are required to support the repair of the hotspots. This timeline remains, and we are committed to providing an updated schedule for the construction by the end of the week. I would also like to thank you. I would also like to let you know that the framework for a full third-party review has been established. The review will be undertaken by an external consultant. The scope of the review will include, but not be limited to, understanding the factors that contributed to the original pipe failure, current practices for inspection and asset sustainability, and recommendations for specific actions to improve water supply resilience. The review will be guided by an expert panel from academia, the water industry, water utilities management and engineering, and government entities focused on infrastructure and resilience. We will provide updates as the review starts and clear timelines for the work have been established. Our team continues to visit with and provide updates to the businesses and residents that are the most impacted by the construction. We've been working to minimize the impacts of this construction so businesses can maintain their operations and access for their customers. Access to all businesses in the area is currently being maintained. Bowness and Montgomery businesses are open. We encourage you to shop locally and contribute to the community's recovery. I would like to express my gratitude for the amazing businesses and residents navigating construction. I would also like to recognize our industry partners in oil and gas industry, who I have been meeting with over the last number of days to share ideas about how to get this repair done as quickly as possible. This collaboration truly embodies the Calgarian way of coming together to get things done. I would now like to hand it back to Mayor Gondek.
Now, as you've heard, crews are working around the clock to get the rest of those hotspots fixed and get water flowing through our feeder main again. Yesterday, we saw crews tearing up parts of 16th Avenue Northwest, and sections of the existing pipe are being cut out as new sections of pipe are being prepared to be dropped down and installed in their place. We are doing everything we can to make sure we shorten the timelines for this repair, but we have to make sure that this is all done in a safe manner. And until those hotspots are fixed and water is moving safely through our city, through that major transmission line, we all need to keep doing our part to save water. Please keep sharing your water saving tips with me. I had an interesting one the other day from a Calgarian who's using a 2-liter pop bottle to save water that's being run from the shower until it warms up. He's then popped some holes in the top of this and used it to squeeze for hand washing. It can also be as simple as turning off the tap while you're brushing your teeth or you're washing your hands, or you could save dozens of liters by reducing the amount of laundry that you're doing. Those are just a few of the ways that we can all save water in Calgary and our surrounding communities. And I just want to say, keep doing what you're doing, everybody. It's working, and we appreciate it. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 8:30 on the live stream, and then we will be back here in the Emergency Operations Center at 2 p.m. tomorrow to get more information on the progress of the repair. And with that, I will pass things over now to Jamie to field questions from the media.
You mentioned that, excuse me, that the pipes from San Diego will arrive today. Do you know the location where they're at right now and roughly what time they will arrive?
The pipes from San Diego are currently being trucked from California to Alberta. They'll come in this evening, and we will be sending them to our fabrication shop to be prepared for installation. The preparation will take some time. We have to sandblast them and epoxy coat them prior to installing them.
Sean Bolzer, Western Standard. You mentioned that there's been over 2,000 bylaw complaints and I guess however many more calls about the fire ban and only 2 tickets. So what, I'm trying to drill down a little bit, like what kind of calls would these be and what would constitute an egregious violation that would warrant the issuance of a ticket?
Well, each one of our bylaw officers are professionals in their own right. They do this day in and day out, and they are enforcing bylaws day in and day out. The calls would have come into 311, An egregious may be one that we've attended before, or somebody who is doing something extremely difficult, or like filling a big pool or something like that up. Those are egregious ones that the bylaw officers would attend to. And so we would ask them to use their discernment on those calls and make sure that they are doing what they need to do to enforce our bylaw.
So these 2 tickets that were written were for corporate violations?
They were for contracted companies, yes.
Okay, and then as a follow-up, there's been a lot of talk about these concrete pipes and design of them since the 70s. I believe there was a website in England, they've been tracking failures on these things over the years. Apparently, similar pipes have failed all across the United States and Europe. There was an article by a former colleague in the Herald this morning that said that city officials were possibly aware that these things could have failed as far back as 2004. So my question is, in terms of the overall review, are you going to be examining just this particular incident in these hotspots, or are you going to be looking at the whole entire city and whether or not city officials are aware of maybe any other potential hotspots or areas that could become troublesome in the future?
These pipes have been used across North America and are used in many jurisdictions. When we do the review, we'll be looking at the specific incident to understand what the causes were and to take lessons from that, and then we'll be applying those lessons learned across our entire network.
How are those 2 workers doing from last week?
Thank you for asking about those 2 workers. The first worker, which was the employee of the City of Calgary, has returned to work in a modified capacity, and the second contractor is, as the last that we have heard, is still in the hospital.
Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow at 2.